The rain came down like a curtain from the heavens, drenching the cracked pavement of the small, forgotten town. In the dim glow of a flickering streetlight, a young man named Aaron stood alone. His shoulders slumped, eyes vacant, a faint cigarette ember glowing at his lips. He wasn't waiting for anyone. He wasn't going anywhere. For years, Aaron's life had been a cycle of empty days, late mornings, unfinished work, abandoned dreams. He would tell himself there was always tomorrow. But tomorrow had become a thief, stealing away the best years of his life without mercy. The truth was, Aaron wasn't just lazy, he was quietly surrendering to a destiny he never chose, yet never fought to change. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet strength of a person's ability to rewrite their story. No matter how far they've fallen, then please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to From the Heart. Your support means more than you know. It keeps stories like this alive. Aaron had once been different. At 18, he was the golden boy of his neighborhood, the kind of kid everyone thought would make it big. He had a sharp mind, a warm smile, and a dream to design buildings that would outlast him. But somewhere along the way, life pressed its heavy hand on his shoulders. His father's sudden death had left him numb, and the job he'd taken at a local repair shop to make ends meet quickly became an excuse to stop trying for anything more. One day turned into a week into a year, and soon he found himself drifting, always busy doing nothing, always tired from doing less. The small apartment he rented above a convenience store smelled faintly of grease from the shop downstairs. His bed was always unmade, his sink always full, and his mind always cluttered with what-ifs. He lived in the background of his own life, watching others move forward while he stayed rooted in place. Sometimes, late at night, he'd scroll through social media, seeing old classmates with thriving careers, families and adventures, and a quiet ache would twist in his chest. But by morning, the ache would fade into the familiar comfort of routine. Things might have stayed that way forever, had it not been for one cold winter evening when a stranger's words sliced through his complacency like glass. He had been leaning against the repair shop's doorway when an old man passed by, hunched under the weight of a sack of firewood. Aaron, without thinking, smirked and called out, "You should let someone younger carry that for you." The man stopped, turned, and looked Aaron in the eyes with an expression so sharp it burned. "Son," he said in a voice worn by years, "it's not the weight that breaks you. It's the laziness that rots you before your time. Every action you take or choose not to take shapes your destiny. One day you'll wake up and realize the life you're living is the one you built brick by brick or the one you left to crumble." And then the old man walked on. That night, Aaron couldn't sleep. Those words clung to him like wet clothes, heavy and cold. He thought about the man's weathered face, about the strength it must take to carry that sack, and about the weight Aaron had refused to carry for years, the weight of responsibility, effort, and ambition. For the first time in years, he looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the man staring back. The days that followed were strange. He would wake up earlier than usual, not because he wanted to, but because he couldn't shake the feeling that something in his life was rotting. He began noticing things he'd ignored for years: the peeling paint on his walls, the dusty notebooks filled with abandoned sketches, the bills he paid just in time to keep the lights on. And beneath it all, he felt an unease that grew with every passing day, a restless voice urging him to move, to act, to change. At first, change came in small, almost laughable steps. He started by cleaning his apartment, scrubbing the floors until his knees ached. He threw away clothes he hadn't worn in years, cleared out the trash piled in corners, and organized the tools at the shop without being asked. His boss noticed, but didn't comment. Perhaps he thought it was just a phase. But for Aaron, it felt like reclaiming a piece of himself. Then came the harder part. He dug out his old sketchbooks, the ones filled with designs for houses, parks, and bridges. His hands trembled as he turned the pages, each one a reminder of who he used to be. He began sketching again, first for 10 minutes a day, then 30, then hours at a time after work. There were days when frustration nearly broke him, when his lines came out shaky and his ideas felt flat. But something deep inside kept him. Months passed, and Aaron started to notice the world differently. He saw how the shop's roof sagged in one corner, how the streets in his neighborhood cracked under neglect, how the community center down the block was closing due to disrepair. The old man's words returned to him. Every action you take, or choose not to take, shapes your destiny. He wondered, what if his actions could shape more than just his own life? What happened next would set off a chain of events that neither Aaron nor anyone in town could have predicted.